Picture this, you're sitting in your favorite armchair, the one that's molded to your shape after years of cozy evenings with a book or a cup of tea. The sun's streaming through the window and you're planning your day, maybe a walk in the garden, a chat with a neighbor, or cooking your signature soup. Now imagine someone telling you that all of that could vanish, replaced by a life where someone else decides when you eat, when you sleep, and even when you can step outside. That's the reality I faced at 80 when I moved into a nursing home, thinking it was the safe choice. I'm here to share 6 harsh truths I wish I'd known before making that decision, truths that could save you or someone you love from losing more than you expect. If you're over 60 or you're helping a loved one navigate this choice, this video is for you. Stay with me because these lessons could change how you think about your future, and I'll share practical ways to protect what matters most. Let's dive into the first truth. The first harsh truth hit me like a cold wind the moment I settled into my new room. You lose your independence in ways you never imagined. Before I moved, my days were my own. I'd wake up when my body told me to, not when a schedule demanded it. I'd shuffle to the kitchen, make my coffee just the way I liked it, strong with a splash of cream, and decide whether to spend my morning tending to my roses or calling my old friend Betty to catch up. Those choices, small as they seem, were the threads of my life weaving together a sense of control and joy. But in the nursing home, those threads unraveled fast. Breakfast was at 7 a.m. sharp, whether I was hungry or not. If I wanted to go outside, I had to wait for a staff member to accompany me, sometimes for hours. Even picking out my clothes felt like a negotiation. Some days I'd reach for my favorite sweater, only to be told it was laundry day. I remember one morning sitting on a stiff bed that didn't smell like home, staring at walls that felt like they belonged to someone else. My books, my photos, the little knickknacks I'd collected over decades, they were gone, replaced by a generic nightstand and a curtain that didn't quite close. It wasn't just about losing my home. It was about losing the right to decide how I lived. What I didn't expect was how quickly you adapt to this loss, and not in a good way. You stop asking to go for a walk because you're tired of hearing "we'll see." You stop fighting for your favorite foods because the menu is what it is. I met a woman named Clara, 85, who used to paint watercolors in her backyard. In the nursing home, she stopped asking for her paints because the staff said it was too messy. Over time, she stopped talking about painting altogether, and I watched the spark in her eyes dim. That's what happens when you lose control. You start losing yourself. If you're considering a nursing home, ask yourself, are you ready to trade the freedom to live on your terms for someone else's schedule? My advice: explore every option to stay independent, home care family, support community programs before you give up the life you built. It's not just about comfort, it's about keeping the essence of who you are. Now let's talk about the second truth, one that cuts deeper than I expected: the loneliness that creeps in when the world moves on without you. When I first moved in, my family was there, all smiles and promises. My son would visit every Sunday. My grandkids would pop in with stories about school. I clung to those moments like lifelines, thinking they'd keep me connected to the life I loved. But life has a way of pulling people away. My son's job got busier, the grandkids had soccer games and college applications, and soon Sunday visits turned into phone calls, then text messages, then silence. I'd sit in the common room watching other residents wait by the window, their eyes fixed on the parking lot, hoping for a familiar face. One man, Harold, used to tell me about his daughter's weekly calls, but even those stopped after a few months. He'd say, "They think I'm fine because I'm here," and I felt that in my bones. It's not that your family stops loving you. They just assume you're okay, tucked away in a place designed to care for you. But care isn't the same as connection. The loneliness isn't just about fewer visits. It's about feeling like you're no longer part of the world. I remember one Christmas waiting for my family to show up for the holiday party the nursing home organized. I saved them seats, even put out extra cookies. But they called at the last minute. Something came up. I sat there watching other families laugh and hug and felt like a ghost in my own life. If you're thinking about a nursing home, don't just trust promises of visits. Talk to your family about what staying connected will really look like. Better yet, consider options that keep you closer to your community: senior centers, shared housing, or in-home aids. These can help you stay surrounded by people who see you not just as a resident, but as you. If you're finding this helpful, drop number 2 in the comments to let me know you're with me, and let's keep going into the next truth about what moving to a nursing home really means. Let's keep going with the third harsh truth about nursing homes, one that snuck up on me and changed how I saw myself. You lose your sense of purpose, and it's harder to get it back than you think. Back at home, my days had meaning, even in the small things. I'd wake up and water my little herb garden basil thyme, a bit of rosemary that always smelled like summer. I'd write letters to my old school friend Margaret or spend an afternoon sorting through family photos, deciding which ones to frame for my grandkids. Those tasks, simple as they were, gave me a reason to get out of bed, a rhythm to my life. But in the nursing home, those rhythms vanished. Someone else watered the plants if there even were any. Meals arrived on a tray, no prep needed. The staff cleaned my room before I could even think to tidy it myself. At first I thought, well, this is nice, no chores. But after a few weeks, the days started to blur. I'd sit in the common room watching the clock tick, waiting for something to happen. Without those little responsibilities, I felt like I was just existing. I saw it in others too. There was a man named Tom, 87, who used to be a school teacher. He'd spend hours telling me about the kids he taught, how he'd grade papers late into the night, proud of every red pen mark. In the nursing home, he had no papers to grade, no lessons to plan. He'd shuffle to the TV room, stare at the screen and mutter, "What's the point?" His words stuck with me because I felt it too, a hollowness where purpose used to be. Without something to care for, whether it's a garden, a hobby, or even a daily chore, your spirit starts to fade. If you're thinking about a nursing home, ask yourself what makes you feel alive. Is it knitting scarves for your grandkids, baking your famous cookies, or even feeding the birds outside? Find ways to hold on to those things, whether it's staying at home with help or choosing a facility that encourages your passions. Look into senior programs that offer classes or volunteer opportunities, anything to keep your hands and heart busy. Purpose isn't just nice to have, it's what keeps you going. Now let's move to the fourth truth, one that hit me harder than I expected. Your health can decline faster than you ever thought possible. Before I moved, I was no marathon runner, but I was steady. I'd walk to the corner store, carry my groceries, climb the stairs to my bedroom without much thought. I had my aches, sure, but I kept moving, stretching in the morning, pottering around the house, even dancing to old Sinatra records when no one was watching. In the nursing home, though, movement became optional, and that was the problem. Everything was designed to make life easier. Meals came to me, so I didn't need to cook. Aides helped with dressing, so I didn't lift my arms as much. If I wanted to go outside, I had to wait for someone to wheel me or walk beside me. At first, I thought I was just relaxing, but then I noticed my legs felt heavier, my balance wobblier. Getting up from a chair started to feel like climbing a hill. I saw it in others too, folks who arrived, walking just fine, leaning on canes within months, then wheelchairs. One woman, Ellen, 83, used to brag about her daily strolls around her neighborhood. After a year in the nursing home, she barely left her room, saying her knees just gave up. The scary part. The less you move, the more you need help, and the cycle keeps going. I didn't realize how much those little daily tasks, carrying a laundry basket, sweeping the porch, were keeping me strong. In a nursing home, help can sometimes mean losing the chance to use your body, and that loss adds up fast. If you're considering this move, don't just think about safety, think about staying active. Can you keep walking, stretching, or doing light chores at home with support? Look into physical therapy programs or senior fitness classes to stay strong. If a nursing home is your only option, ask about exercise programs or insist on doing as much for yourself as you can. Your body is like a garden. If you don't tend to it, it won't thrive. If this is resonating with you, drop number 4 in the comments to let me know you're still with me. And let's dive into the next truth about what life in a nursing home really takes from you. Let's move into the fifth harsh truth about nursing homes, one that caught me off guard and left me feeling more exposed than I ever expected. You lose your privacy and dignity in ways that chip away at who you are. At home, I had my own space, a little bedroom with a creaky door I could close when I needed quiet. I could take a long bath, linger over my morning coffee, or just sit in silence without anyone watching. Those moments were mine, private and sacred. But in the nursing home, privacy became a rare gift. My room was shared with a stranger, a kind woman named Ruth, but her snores kept me up, and her family's visits spilled into my space. Staff popped in without always knocking, checking on me during routine rounds or helping with things I'd done on my own for decades, like getting dressed or brushing my teeth. I'll never forget the first time an aide helped me change her hands were gentle, but I felt like a child, not an 80-year-old with a lifetime of stories. Even simple things like choosing when to shower weren't up to me. If the schedule said 10 a.m., that's when it happened, whether I felt ready or not. It's not just the lack of privacy, it's the way it erodes your dignity. I saw it in others too. There was a man, Frank 90, who used to be a lawyer sharp as a tack. He hated how the staff spoke to him in a sing-song voice, like he was a toddler, not a man who'd argued cases in court. They don't see me, he'd say, and I knew what he meant. When your life is managed, when someone else decides your meals, your bedtime, even how long you can sit alone, you start to feel like a number, not a person. If you're thinking about a nursing home, ask yourself, are you ready to give up the quiet moments that make you feel like you? Before you decide, look into options that protect your space, maybe in home care or a senior living community with private apartments. If a nursing home is unavoidable, ask about private rooms or policies that respect your autonomy. Hold on to your dignity like it's a treasure because it's harder to reclaim once it's gone. Drop number 5 in the comments if this one's hitting home. And let's talk about the final truth, one that might make you rethink everything. The sixth truth is the hardest to swallow once you move into a nursing home. Leaving is tougher than you ever imagined. When I signed the papers, I told myself it was temporary, a trial run. If I don't like it, I'll go home, I thought. But home wasn't waiting for me the way I left it. My daughter started clearing out my house, thinking I wouldn't need my old furniture or clothes. My savings dwindled with the nursing home's costs, and after months of not cooking or cleaning, I wasn't as confident I could manage on my own. My body had changed, my legs were weaker, my stamina lower, and the idea of moving back felt like a mountain I wasn't sure I could climb. I met a woman, Dorothy 88, who had the same plan. She'd moved in just for a bit after a fall, but her family sold her house thinking it was practical. When she wanted to leave, she had nowhere to go, and the nursing home became her world. The longer you stay, the more the outside world slips away your home, your routines, your freedom. What I wish I'd known is that moving in isn't a simple choice you can undo. It's a shift that reshapes your life financially, physically, emotionally. If you're considering this step, don't assume you can just walk away if it doesn't work. Talk to your family about keeping your home intact. Explore short-term options like rehab centers or home health aides that let you test care without committing fully. Ask yourself, are you ready for this to be your new reality? Maybe forever. Because once you're in the door, out feels heavier than you expect. Looking back, these 6 truths: losing independence, feeling forgotten, losing purpose, declining health, sacrificing privacy, and the difficulty of leaving taught me that a nursing home isn't just a place to live. It's a choice that changes everything. I don't regret growing older, but I wish I'd fought harder to stay in my home, surrounded by my garden, my memories, my life. If you're facing this decision, take your time. Look at every option: home care, family support, senior communities that lets you hold on to what makes you you. Small steps now can keep you thriving, not just surviving. Share one thing you learned from this video in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and it keeps our community strong. If you found this helpful, give it a like, hit that subscribe button, and ring the bell so you don't miss more tips to live your best life. Here's to holding on to your freedom, your purpose, and your joy, no matter your age. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.